What's up, guys? Welcome to the Sesh. Rob.
We're back with Mr. Mike Molly.
Yeah, Mike Molly in the house. Dude, we were talking off camera right now.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. No, you guys.
So, Rob, where do we start,
man?
I
don't even know.
Where do we start?
We'll start with Mike. Let's introduce Mike. Mike Molly. Let me kind of bring you guys up to speed. So we've been open here at the studio for several months, and the universe works the way it works, and so there's been things happening here at the studio that have led us to this moment. Another one of our partners in the Meta Frenchy NFT project that we've been developing, what Carlos has developed, and we've kind of been his support group. Carlos is a friend of yours, man, and I'm barely finding this out. Well, Carlos has this badass. What would you call it? It was, backpack, a satchel?
It was like a backpack. It was like from 2020. I had just like, basically like the brand was revolved around this P logo, but like I had got over it and I just started like letting it evolve into its own thing. But yeah, that backpack was like promotional for, it was the January drop of 2021.
Well, it caught my eye because it's round.
Yeah.
It almost looks like a tire, dude. Like and it has this badass P on it, his logo. So it came up, and I think we have a picture of it somewhere. Hopefully we can get it up on the video. Carlos has his Frenchies and the backpack, and so back then Carlos starts rapping to us about you, man. Like, this is my boy, and he started this sideboard thing and this, and we were like, oh, well, that's
he told us the story behind it. Like, this guy follows serial killers.
Yes,
and
dude.
Kind of, he took us on the thing, like, you're an artist and you think about this stuff.
Yeah, and I'm actually even communicating right now to the Vampire of Paris, who was basically taken in for, they thought he was committing cannibalism, and they found, like, when they went through his whole crib, there was bones, there was like gallons of blood that he was like, after DNA samples were swabbed, that he was supposedly drinking. There's like a bunch of rumors about him. And yeah, he was let off because of lack of evidence. And I actually like FaceTime called him. His name's Nico Clo. And we're planning a collab. So it's gonna be 50 limited teas. And for each one of those limited teas, like, my mom's gonna hate me for this, but we're getting postcards that are going to be encased in some sort of like plastic casing, but they're going to have his blood thumbprint on it. Whoa. And it's going to say 1 of 50 Nico Clo. Like,
so before we go into that, kind of give people your background, because this is a crazy story, dude. And I think it's something so niche and it's so cool that you're having success in this. So kind of start from the beginning and then lead up to
the beginning, like you're in the womb beginning.
Oh, like
because you have an interesting story about that too.
So a lot of people just think that I'm like some edgy kid who just happened to stumble across like a true crime like article, and that's like not the case. So this book, the Encyclopedia of Serial Killers, my mom used to read it all the time when she was pregnant with me, and like her friends would say, you shouldn't be reading that, like with your baby inside of you, like your baby knows. Your baby's gonna sense this,
feels
and feel
the anxiety,
it, and potentially
feels the
and like
it's absorbing it.
They were saying crazy things like your baby's gonna become one of them, like shit like that. And I mean, growing up, like I was always surrounded by like horror movies, like big time. Like Jeepers Creepers was definitely one of the big ones. My mom like tried using that to scare me to like behave as a little kid. And like it worked for a while, like.
But then you just embraced it.
Yeah, like after a while, I was like, "Well, shit. I mean, if this is my punishment, I might as well make use of it." Like, so after a while, I started getting into. I like weaned in from like the Gremlins into like, because the Gremlins as a kid, it's like scary.
Yeah, it's trippy, man.
Yeah, so like from the Gremlins back into Jeepers Creepers, like actually watching it, and then my sister Alyssa and me would watch like Chainsaw Massacre, like. And I forgot the other name. Oh, Final Destination. And we would just start watching horror movies until it snowballed into this huge thing. And yeah, eventually it ended up being to the point where like I would grab a bowl of popcorn when I saw like my mom watching a Jeffrey Dahmer documentary. So this has been instilled in me, not in a bad way. Like I chose to watch this stuff as a kid. But yeah,
I mean,
like,
we all kind of do. We all kind of get
curious.
Yeah, and sucked into what makes a person like that tick? You know, what must that have been like? You know, living in a neighborhood where somebody was, you know, killed or whatever. Yeah. And the difference between you and the 99% of the rest of the people is that we see that and we shudder and kind of let our imaginations go wild, and then we dust it off and get on with our day. You took this and you said, well, fuck, I'm going to turn this, I'm going to flip this.
Yeah, well, not flip it. Like, I've been seeing like these brands and stuff like in the streetwear community, and this isn't like hate towards anyone, because everyone in the streetwear community, whether they hate me or not, like, they know that, like, I really don't give a shit. Like, I made a tee about Elisa Lam, and it said, like, have you seen my friend, with like her elevator photo, and it had all her info, like it was a missing poster. And when I dropped that t-shirt, I flew to LA, I went to the CISO hotel, and I documented me being there. So like I was actually gonna sneak in. It sounds shitty, but like, I know a couple of friends. Sounds passionate, yeah. I know a couple of friends who know people on the inside that were working on like the remodeling of it, and they said like, oh, $200, like, we'll get you in. We'll make sure that it's secure. Like, we have the keys. We'll get you in like at nighttime so you can have the full experience. We'll turn on the power.
So for people that aren't familiar with the hotel, talk about it a little.
So basically, there was this case of this hotel, and there's been multiple cases actually of people like jumping off of the balconies, like committing suicide. It's like right by Skid Row. Even Richard Ramirez, like after some of his, murder sessions, he would go to the hotel in the middle of the night, like all bloodied up. He'd go to the hotel, clean up, and then go about his day the next day.
Wow. So this is a hotel that's basically pretty much...
Yeah, it has a lot of bad luck, like, linked to it. And one day...
And you went there?
Yeah, I actually went there. And I was planning on, like, going there at nighttime, but we couldn't, just because we heard that, like, Skid Row gets, like, active when it comes to, like, stabbings, robberies, like, shootings. It's, like, really bad over there.
Wow.
But, yeah, there was this one case where it's notorious. It even has a Netflix special. This Canadian, I think she was like a college student. She was in her 20s. Her name was Elisa Lam. She goes to the hotel to visit LA for the first time because she feels like she needs to get out of the house or like get out of Canada and explore. One day, she just like disappears. Everyone's checking this like cameras in the whole hotel. And there's just a video of her just like looking out of the elevator and going back in.
Yeah, I remember
looking out, like
that.
if someone's chasing her, like if she's scared of something. And then the elevator closes the door, opens again, and she leaves. Days later, they find her in the water tower because there was like reports of the water being black in the hotel. Wow. So they just found her body there. They still don't know who put her in there because it was like a 13-foot tank. And once you get in,
you can't get out.
No, you can't get out. But more importantly, you can't close the hatch on top by yourself.
Oh.
So somebody, it was like a little like square door, kind of like this. You would have to slide this like cement tile, jump in, and someone else on the outside would have to close it.
Close it, yeah. Because
when they found her, it was closed.
Oh shit.
So
like, for sure somebody put her there.
Yeah, for sure, like somebody knew she was there and closed it, or I honestly don't. Someone put her there. Wow. But yeah, it's been unsolved since.
You take these events that have historically already taken place.
Yeah.
And turn it into what, or do what?
Well, I just like, I kind of make. I would say like I implement it within like my craft, just because like. You see like a lot of history paintings like in history books, and you see a lot of patriotism like clothing and stuff. But this is, in all reality, this is history that gets thrown under the rug. This is the history that you don't learn in school. Like this is the actual brutality of
the world. Yeah,
this is like what real life is.
And it's funny because people find it easy to talk about everything that for those who are religious and whatnot, what Jesus went through, and that was fucking brutal, man. Like, like they crucified that guy, and everybody talks about it, and then you hear
something about this happening like last year, like
and it's taboo, like, oh, we don't want to talk about that, or why would you do that? But no, man, I find it inspiring, bro. You taking something that intrigues you and holds your attention, and you're reinterpreting it and sending it back out into the universe, man.
And you're doing it in a way that is culturally available now. Like that's the cool thing, is like you figured out a way to marry your passions and make a living out of it. I mean, how cool is that, dude? Like, that's awesome.
And it baffles me, man, that how this has been something that has been a constant thing in your life, very serendipitously, very just kind of nonchalantly, like, oh, there's a series on, let's watch it. Oh, I found this book in the attic, Oh, by the way, my mom used to read it when I mean, all of this stuff I believe that it's by design, by intelligent design and a greater power that has you on this path. And shit, man, it's funny because after I met Carlos and saw the actual backpack and looked at it and said, well, shit, this is quality. He was like, my boy made that. And at the time, I had no idea what the P stood for, or whether you were, like, were you a leather worker? Like, what do you mean he made it? And then he started telling me, man, he has this brand and it's called PsychWard, and he does this, and I was floored. But as intrigued as I was, he never really brought it up again after we talked about it. And then fast forward a couple of months.
I would say weeks, man.
Was it weeks?
Yeah, I said weeks.
Yeah, because he had posted that like not too long ago either, that photo
right,
too.
Man. So fast forward a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden Josh tells me, I have a friend of mine, she's going to come on. She did great with this Johnny Depp t-shirt, and
which we have here.
So we bring the lady on, and she's here, and we have this really badass interaction, and lo and behold, she's your mom.
Yeah. So
so dude, you've been your presence and the need for you to be here has been manifesting.
Oh, most definitely.
For a long time, and now you're here, so I'm giddy. I'm excited to have you here and to tell the people about it, because how old are you, bro?
I'm 21.
And I'm massively impressed with your passion for what you're doing, man. It's not so much about, in college or I'm a manager or this shit. It's about the passion you have for what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, you figured it out and you did it your own way.
And and you have it, and it radiates, and it's reflective on the things that you're selling. And you were telling us that some people have t-shirts that you've made that are now reselling for tens of thousands of dollars, man.
Yeah.
How do you stay as humble as you are, knowing that you're up and coming as you are?
Honestly, I mean, I don't really know how to explain it. And I'm not the way I'm going to say this, it's not to compare myself to any religious prophets or anything. Mm-hmm. But what I refer to my supporters as is my cult members. Because it's a legitimate cult. I've had members of my quote-unquote cult following, they tattoo both of their palms with the PsychWard logos. There's a kid from here, Brendan, with the PsychWard logo huge on his forearm.
How do you stay humble, Lisa?
I'll tell you this, you have tapped into one of the most, I guess, the ideas in marketing and advertising is where you have 1,000 true fans. If you have these people that are tattooing on their hands and their bodies, they're your fans for life.
Yeah.
And you only need 1,000 people to support you to have a life that you want.
Yeah.
And that's you stumbled upon it.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you, man.
So,
dude, for real.
As far as being humble, it's I mean, me and my mom know what it's like to be broke. There were times where we would make the most out of eating a cup of ramen in front of a documentary. So those times when I was watching documentaries with her, those were some of the most meaningful times in my childhood. We would play Guitar Hero in our fucking living room and shit.
Yeah.
And sometimes we didn't have money for the batteries, so we would put tin foil in a AAA, so that way the Wii controller would still work and we could connect it to the guitar type shit. But
how do you
I mean, I've been through it. I know what it's like to be at the lowest
so
low.
that's at the core of everything.
yeah, like when I had started this brand, it was in high school, and like I had went into college like thinking, oh, it's a hobby, like let me go to school for graphic design. And then it was like December of 2019, I get a email from one of Samantha Burkhart's assistants, and they're saying like, oh, we want to put one of the pieces from Nights of Horror Part 2, or I think it was Nights of Horror Part 1. It was this Halloween collection I made, and she saw like this woven blanket with my face on it. We want to put this like in like a photo on Billie Eilish's tour. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, why the fuck are you looking at my shit? So immediately after I got that email, I didn't tell anyone like this at all. I would just wake up like after Christmas break. This was like around Christmas break time. I'm designing that whole month. January comes around, and I'm telling my mom, oh, okay, bye. I'm gonna go to school. See you later. And I'd go to the Grind Coffee Co. instead. Like I instead of being at the SEC, instead of being at the McAllen SEC campus, I'd be at like this coffee shop in Edinburgh near the university, design there, and then come back home like at 9:30, so my mom would think that I was going to college. So she got my grades back like at the end, and I was just doing this for the whole semester. The rest of the semester after that, I was like, shit, I could actually make a living out of this if I give it my all. She gets my report card back, and she's like, what are these room numbers? And it's like 015, 009, 007. And then she's like, these are your fucking grades, Mike. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Smacked me on the back of the head. She's sitting there with like Lupe, my stepdad, and they're just like, so are you going to go to college or what? Because you fucked up free education. And I basically said, nah, like I'm going to do designing full time. At the time, like I don't even like, I'm not upset at them because I know it's like hard to say like, Mom, I'm going to make $1 million off of a laptop and a phone. Yeah. Like you tell that to any fucking parent, they'll freak out.
Yeah, anybody who's in their 40s or older, yeah.
So
it's hard to grasp.
Lupe was just like, okay, well, I give you like, I think it was like Lupe or my mom, one of the two. They both came to the agreement that if I didn't get my shit together in 6 months, I'm out. Like they were like, if you're not out, like that's it. Like you have 6 months to either change your mind, go back to school, or get the fuck out and go get your own apartment.
6 months is a long time too.
Yeah, it's a long time, but like when you literally only have like 100 followers and you're given 6 months, it's like oh fuck.
Yeah,
like, what do I do?
It didn't seem long to me when you said.
So, at the time, I had just like, it was literally that same week I had went into Express Printing, which is like this print shop that was in Edinburgh. Yeah, it closed down like recently.
Shit. Wow. Sorry to hear that.
I went in to go order some shirts, like just because I had only like 3 shirt orders, and Rolando, the guy who owned it, he was like, "Hey, our graphic designer quit. Do you want a job?" And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, how much are you going to pay me?
Wow.
Yeah, he was like, well, starting pay is going to be $8.25. I was getting paid $7.25 to fucking bust tables. I was like, fuck this. I'm getting paid $1 more to do what I love. And I'm around screen printing.
Yeah, no brainer.
Like, that's
where your education came from.
That's literally like where every brand owner should like go if they want to start a brand, a screen print shop.
You just gave everybody a golden nugget.
Yeah, that's like
information right there, man.
And like stuff like that, I'm not scared to say. Like I make guides for these people. Like Molly Incorporated is like a corporation that I started making for beginner brand owners, but we'll get back into that in a little bit. But yeah, he got me a job. I put in my 2 weeks. Told my manager, Big Mike, because he was like tall as shit, and I was like the only short Mike there, so we call him Big Mike. I said, Big Mike, yo, don't put me on a schedule, man. Like, I'm trying to work at this place ASAP. He's like, all he said to me was like, shit, man. He's like, I've seen the shit you make. Like, and I know a lot of, he was like, I know a lot of people in here really don't give a shit, but I think your shit's cool. Like,
that's badass.
That's good, bro.
To have that.
Yeah.
And he's like, he was like 44, 45, like general manager. Gave me a fist bump. I was like, bro, see you later. Walk out that door. didn't go. I promised myself I would not go back to that Peter Piper until I started making six figures again, just to talk to Mike again.
Wow.
So I did that recently, which is like fucking sick.
Man.
That is sick, bro.
But,
well,
yeah,
man,
like,
congrats, bro. I don't even know how to express without sounding condescending how proud I am of you, bro. Because we need more cats like you out there because a lot of people have the vision. It's the balls to chase it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to show these kids that it's like possible. Like,
well, in the world that we live in today with the internet, it's possible. Like there are no excuses. If you're a creator, you should be creating every single day. Like that's it. Like that's your practice. You got to keep on getting better at. You sharpen your axe, man.
How can people tell me how to find you, like on social media?
So like we're PsychwardUSA is on Instagram. It's all on there. I've fucking cried my eyes out recently because we hit 10K.
Wow.
I started that brand out of a garage. Like,
nice.
It was like the garage, it still didn't even have AC. Like, it was midway into getting enclosed, and I refused to like stay out of that garage because it was so much workspace. Like, I have ADHD, so I'm always painting, I'm always drawing, I'm always sketching. Like, any piece of paper I would get my hands on, like in class, like in
turns
high school,
into a canvas for you.
Yeah, my high school art teacher, Miss Guerrero, she like saw I was the only one that was like able to whip out like 10 drawings in 10 minutes, like on like 3x4 pieces of paper. Like I would fill them up like edge to edge, make a whole like doodle sketch. Say, Miss, can I have another paper? By the time the class period ended, I had like 10 drawings. Next period, I would have 10 drawings, bring them back, refill on paper. And she
just got very efficient at what you did.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You brought some interesting items here.
Yeah.
Talk about those, because I think it's crazy to talk about it.
Yeah. So as far as like true crime stuff, this is the book that I started researching, and it has information about David Berkowitz, Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, Ed Gein.
So do a lot of your drops and designs, is that the birthplace for a bunch of them?
This is literally like the Psych Ward Bible. Like that's what I call it. Like this is like the serial killer Bible. This is even an encyclopedia.
And it was
taught me everything I know.
handed down from your mom.
From generation to generation.
Eventually, that's going to be in a museum somewhere, and we're going to be able to see, bro, remember he brought it.
Okay, we're going to talk about museum in a bit, because y'all are going to freak out with what I'll tell you about that next. But so there's not every single serial killer out there. This was published in 92. From 92 going on, like to even early 2000s, there were still serial killers.
Sure, yeah.
And there was a lot of cult activity like going on. One being Heaven's Gate,
which you just educated me a little bit on. I wasn't
this
familiar.
Notorious. It started off as like a Christian kind of like movement, like to make believers actually believe in the coming of Christ, the second coming of Christ. This guy, Marshall Applewhite from Texas, he's here with his wife, Bonnie Nettles. They were going on a like crazy rampage tour trying to spread the word of God. Well, in that tour, they didn't return like a rental car for 6 months. And I think it was from Cali. They had started their tour in Texas, back home, because this is where Marshall's from. Marshall ends up getting arrested here in Harlingen, which is like, people don't believe me when I say this, but you could look up Marshall Applewhite mugshot, KRGB, and it'll say
courtesy of KRGB.
Yeah. So
you just showed us a little while ago.
Yeah, in the Hidalgo County jail, he was sentenced to a 9-month sentence or 8-month sentence for not returning that vehicle for like theft.
For basically grand auto theft.
Yeah. So in that county jail, that's where he came up with the new ideology of Heaven's Gate, that Earth was about to be recycled or deteriorate within the next 30 years, which is kind of crazy because you see what's happening to the ice caps. You see what's happening with all the volcanoes right now.
And
the flames in LA and just all kinds of shit.
A tsunami warning in California. Like, what? Like, and that's where the mansion was, which is Santa Fe. So he created this whole ideology that heaven isn't like the pearly white gates, angels flying everywhere. It's actually like a higher level of being, which is being an alien life form. he gathered all of these cult members. They were brainwashed into thinking that, like, they were just waiting on a sign from God, like, to leave their quote-unquote vessels, which was their bodies. And Comet Hale-Bopp came around. I don't know if you... or the Halley's Comet.
Oh, yes, yes, I remember.
Halley's Comet flew over. It's all over the news. And Marshall's telling everyone. This is after Marshall castrated himself in Mexico. Like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, he got like a surgical procedure so that way he would be sexless, because he said that like the higher level of being, to be as close to godly as possible, you cannot have sex. They had like, the cult had specific types of underwear you could wear, like different meals at different times during the day. Like for each day, like you can only eat eggs, toast, and bacon on a Monday and Wednesday. Like if you eat it other than like on a Tuesday or Thursday, you're going to hell. Like this is how
strict, yeah.
Yeah, you can only use certain types of toothpastes and toothbrushes. If you wore black underwear, it was like seen as ungodly and unholy. Like that you had to wear white underwear strictly, because that was like the closest thing to being as heavenly as possible. Like some Bible scripture wearing all white, there's like, I don't know what Bible scripture it was or what reference it was, but it was like a link between holy figures like priests and popes wearing white underneath that the cult like initiated within themselves.
So he castrates himself. Halley's Comet comes by.
And he tells the whole cult,
this is the sign.
Yeah, he says, this is our sign. Like, we got to go now. So they have all these bunk beds, right? They have like, it's, I think 39 members, including Marshall. They all, it's a mixture of phenobarbital, which is like a medication when mixed with vodka. And they didn't mix it with vodka and applesauce. There's like rumors that it's like all three or just both two. I'm typically not sure, but I know it was phenobarbital and vodka. They all took this mixture and they all fell asleep. If some of them didn't fall asleep, like the remaining members were like putting plastic bags over their heads so that way they could just suffocate, because they would like OD basically.
Wow.
But like they wouldn't fully die. Like they would still be able to be resuscitated if like cops found them. So it was supposed to be 40 members. One of the last remaining members, which is why it's 39 now, backed out like last minute and left an anonymous tip. Hey, I'm at this mansion, Santa Fe mansion. Like, there's been a mass suicide. It was totally organized, not against anyone's will. This is once again an anonymous tip. I was a member. Like, I know what happened. The leader's named Marshall Applewhite, da-da-da-da. Cops show up, and there's footage, and they're going through the whole mansion. This is actually one of the sets of 3 discs. Shout out Cult Collectibles for letting me obtain this. But this right here.
These are actual DVDs.
Yeah, these are DVDs from...
It says they're Heaven's Gate, Classroom.
Wow.
Classroom audio tapes, volume 1.
So this is the doctrine that he was giving to these people.
This is like what the cult members would study, like when they were getting initiated in.
And there was like, only like 50 of those.
From what I've heard, yes, there's only 50 left, like in good condition, like the whole set. Like,
and you've watched those?
Yeah, I watched all 48 hours of the videos. I listened to the audio tapes of both.
How compelling was he?
He honestly, like, he was so crazy to the point where, like, when I was gonna drop my collection on their anniversary date, I was like, shit, I'm actually convinced. I even had a dream about it, like, where it was 40, and they had like this 40, or like, I think it was like some 60-year anniversary class teaching, like, and it was the last remaining member before he was gonna pass away. So he was saying, who wants to be the 40th member that never got to go? And I'm looking around the whole classroom, like in my dream, I say like, I'll go. And everyone's like, Mikey, no, don't fucking do it. Like, you're crazy. So I sit back down, and I basically, in the nicest way, he doesn't call me a pussy, but he basically called me a pussy.
Yeah.
He gives me a patch, like, and I'm the only one that he gives me a patch, like gives a patch to, because he was like, I like your courage. He's like, I'm kind of upset that you backed out, but I like your courage. And he gave me a Heaven's Gate patch, like this triangle patch that they all wore on their uniforms. But instead, mine said Heaven's Gate away team, and then under it says in quotation, almost made it. Because they all had away team on the bottom, but mine said almost made it, like if he was making fun of me. And I woke up, and I was like, I need to fucking make a tee about that. So I had made a t-shirt with my friend Japheth. I told him about the idea. He's like, bro, this is actually crazy that you're dreaming about this shit. Like, are you okay? And I'm like, bro, this is fucking awesome. So he makes a t-shirt, and on the front it says, I almost made it a Heaven's Gate, but I was too scared to kill myself. And on the back, it said it had that patch. That PsychWard away team.
Dude, that is, I'm baffled by all of this.
Because you're in tune with what you're doing.
Yeah,
you're immersed.
Definitely.
Yeah, you're immersed. You live, eat, and breathe it. So
that's why it comes to you so
Heaven's
easily.
Gate.
Yeah. It's crazy how close to home it is too. Because Marshall is from Texas, so is Richard Ramirez. But like, Marshall was mad close. He's from Corpus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man. And this cult had rules that lead us into what's in that box.
Yeah,
man.
so this was one of the 39 pairs that were found at the crime scene. This is not like the exact pair, but it's the same model as the exact pair that they wore. And when questioned about it, one of the cult members, I think it was Marshall or one of the cult members Marshall sent out, when asked why is he buying so many shoes, he said, oh, because it's a good deal. And then the next day, the champ's like cashier had said, like after like a witness report to the police, that he saw them on the news the next day, and that's what he told him, like just because it's a good deal. So this isn't the exact black pair model, but this is right after the cult like mass suicide. This shoe called the Nike Decade was basically shelved. Like Nike incinerated all of the existing pairs. There was a couple of people who started buying them, like just rapidly, because they knew it was like, holy shit, this is gonna be worth a lot of money in the future. Look, they even have the paper inside, like never been worn.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are those worth right now?
$6,000. Well, to be specific, it's kind of creepy. You go on eBay, you'll see $6,666.
Wow. Knew that shit was coming.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
crazy.
So what's next, man? You got the Heaven's Gate project, like, and it's sad to say that the subject matter of serial killers and mass murderers is ongoing, and it's never going to end. So it looks like PsychWard is pretty well covered in terms of content.
Yeah, and even if it does end up dying out one day, like I know damn well that like 10 years from now, some kid, like the reason why I'm doing this stuff is like, I don't plan on ever selling a t-shirt for 60, 70 bucks. I would never do that. Like if I'm selling a hoodie for like 68 bucks, I'm gonna make sure this thing's cut and sewn overseas, fully embroidered, custom tagging, like the heaviest cotton fleece, the most quality materials that I could find on the market, to the point where they're getting what their money's
getting what they're paying for.
Like I'm paying damn near close to what my customers pay for the products. I even developed, I don't know if you can see it, custom PsychWard tag. I don't use Gildan anymore. I like developed my own custom blank. I have a Molly Incorporated blank V1, V2, V3, and V4 that I developed over 9 months. I'm currently in the process of patenting the pattern, so I could start competing with brands like Gildan, All Style, LA Apparel.
So you can like trademark it, brand it, everything. Fuck yeah, man.
So, yeah, I'm gonna start competing with all these like big time like blank companies like Gildan. So,
yeah, because you become the supplier.
Yeah.
It's awesome,
so
man.
If I become the supplier for my own blanks, the goal of it is to eventually, these starter brands, which is where I'm gonna get into Molly Incorporated. I made this sort of like. It was supposed to be like a brand portfolio of just like stuff I made. And then I started thinking, well, a lot of people are asking me how to start a brand, like a lot of beginners, and a lot of people in this industry gatekeep. So like they're scared of competition. I'm not.
Yeah, good.
If I could potentially help the next Andy Warhol, that'd be sick.
Fuck yeah.
That would be
comes
sick.
with benefits.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Yeah,
like at the end of the day, that's so cool.
There is no downfall to sharing wisdom and to being enthusiastic about other people around you doing good, man. There's no downfall to that, man. The more you get that into your head, the better. And it seems like you already got it, and it's reflective on your success, man, and the things that you're doing. I'm like, my jaw's on the floor with you, brother. Like, real talk. Kudos to you, man. This is really, really inspirational.
Yeah. So like with Molly Incorporated, it started off as like me showcasing like my graphic work just to take commissions, and then I started getting a bunch of DMs like, yo, can you show me how to make a brand? Like, how much for a commission? Like, I need you to set up a website for me. And it got to the point where my schedule was so full that I wasn't even able to drop from Psychward like March, our last release for Heaven's Gate. This was March. Like, I've been doing commissions March, April, May, June, July for 4 months straight. Like, I'm barely dropping this month again because I've been busy with commissions.
Wow. That's what happens when you're successful and people begin to appreciate the talent that you bring. It diminishes our time because more people want more of it from us. Yeah. And then before you know it, but that's always reflective of what you're doing and what your efforts are, man. So
can I move this real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. So basically what I'm doing with Molly Incorporated is I'm making a graphic designer Olympic team. And this is going to be like the Olympic team that, in my eyes, is going to take over streetwear. Because I'm going to teach these 40 to 50 people who are purchasing my Photoshop assets, who are purchasing from my blank company. My whole purpose is to help small brand owners. Rue Porter, LA Apparel, all these big time quality blank companies. They'll give these kids who like only have like $500, $200, no LLC to their name. They make them fill out all these forms. Like, these small brand owners don't have that paperwork or the $2,000 to spend on that paperwork just to buy something wholesale. So what Molly Incorporated is doing is offering wholesale prices without that paperwork required.
Yeah, you're actually helping MOQs. A ton of people.
Yeah,
man.
which is a market that's like not like
it's not tapped.
Like, it's not tapped. Like, nobody thinks about, you know, the people like me who are broke, like going to Hobby Lobby paying $7 for a Gildan blank. Like, feasible. So I'm trying to help these kids out, and I like created Photoshop assets, blank packs, like mock-up packs that people could put into Photoshop and automatically change the color. So it's easy for them like to start learning and creating their own style.
Wow.
I'm going to teach like 50 kids like that are in my...
Give them a trade, man. What you're doing is you're giving them a trade, man.
And this designer Olympic team, it's going to be networked throughout the whole streetwear industry. So like, let's say, I'm not going to like name drop a brand, but like, let's say if Psychward was a whole separate company, I didn't own Psychward, but I knew the owner. Molly Incorporated would reach out to them, say, hey, we see that you were looking for graphic designers. Check out our designer portfolio. And it'll be a list of all 50 designers. They click each one, are able to see their styles, down to the root of like what commission they're working on, like what design they're currently making.
Yeah, no, you're creating a hub for
it's gonna be like a Fiverr, but for streetwear, like designers.
Apparel designers. And does that, and this is, again, I don't know anything, but like, is there room for like seamstress and like people to create their own stuff, scarves, like different stuff? So it's just not t-shirts.
Nah, Molly Incorporated offers a custom like sample garment cut and sewn, like garment servicing. Through Psychward's trusted manufacturers that we've been using for like 2 years.
I want to be like this cat when I grow up.
It's genius because I remember looking for some streetwear and stuff, and we couldn't find anything that was good quality.
It took me like 2 years to convince my manufacturer like to make blanks cheaper for people. And I told them like, look, if it doesn't sell 1,000 units, 2,000 units by the end of the year, I will pay you the $10 a unit per price, like out of pocket. Like, I really don't care about money. I just need to help these kids who want cut and sew stuff because like it's not accessible. The closest thing is like comfort colors and the fit of that, like over time, like in the streetwear community, at least from like the community that I've been in, if you print on like comfort colors, you're gonna get laughed at.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's an amateur move, so to speak. Yeah,
basically.
But everybody has to go through that kind of thing to get their feet wet.
And it's not a bad thing. But
and now you're giving them an option to where they can circumvent the bullshit and go straight to what they need. Wow, man.
Yeah. So they get the highest quality possible.
I spent like 2-3 years, like in total, just asking like brand owners, like, yo, can you give me your manufacturer? And they would like brush me off, like, get the fuck out my DMs. And it wasn't until this one brand owner, like Insomnia, I had asked him, because he like, I was designing for them, and I had said, hey, like, I'll make you 4 designs if you tell me just where I can get cut and sew stuff made. It's like, boom, here you go. Sends me the contact. And I was like, wow, we're in.
Yes,
we're in.
So from there, I started networking with that manufacturer, and he would say, oh, you need all over prints, like T-shirts, like screen print, everything. Hit up this guy. Like we make, like our friend makes stuff for this guy.
All you need is that.
I would DM that guy and talk to him. He would give me a manufacturer and so on. So now I have like 18, 20 different manufacturers. I'm making like stuffed animals now, like mugs. Like I made like a gun mug. I wish I had it. We only like made like 30 of them, but it had like a gun handle, and it was just a black mug, and it had the Psychward logo on it.
And this is all stuff that you just kind of conjure up, design, put it on paper, and say this is worth my time. I'm gonna manifest this.
So what I do is like for products like that, like right now, for this other brand that I'm working on called Your Happy Place, it's the total opposite of Psychward. So like this is like a bunch of negative stuff, but like done in a really cool fashion. Your Happy Place is gonna be like mad positive, like. It's just gonna be like a bunch of colorful, like happy graphics.
Yeah, stuff that stimulates that good feeling kind of. Not that the other stuff doesn't. It's just synonymous with a tragic event.
Yeah.
But I'm sure people who buy it and wear it are fucking proud of it, and they're fucking look at this shit. You know,
I
like
do too.
Nobody puts that on and says, "Oh, I'm putting it on because I want to feel like shit." Like they're putting it on because they like what it represents. Yeah, man, absolutely.
Yeah. So like after a while, like the reason why I even started making cooler like serial killer stuff is you look up John Wayne Gacy T, and it's either gonna be my stuff or some shitty ass Etsy like version of it.
Wow.
Like I basically think to myself, like if I'm gonna make a John Wayne Gacy tee, or if I'm gonna make like a Bud Dwyer tee, I'm gonna make this t-shirt last forever, like to the point where 20-30 years from now vintage heads are saying like, oh, like $900 for this long sleeve.
Yeah, it's still palatable. It's still desired. Yeah,
and it's not that I'm getting tired of this stuff. Like I love true crime. I will die with the Psychward logo on my coffin type shit. Like in my will, since I'm gonna have to get life insurance soon for a motorcycle, if I were in any case ever to die, like in a freak accident, get killed,
or
shot, whatever, or even natural causes, it's gonna be in my will because of how brutal the brand is. That the last Psychward drop is going to be a t-shirt with photos of my autopsy incorporated into a design.
Wow.
So, and it's going to be done through 2 trusted graphic designers, Japheth, Hellbound Heart, and Unathletic, who is a really close friend of mine, who's also making furniture with me next month. Like we're going to be making a mugshot coffee table, a Charles Manson like head, egghead chair, so you're gonna be able to sit in his brain.
Wow.
Yeah, like basically, it's pretty crazy shit. Like there's gonna be a Charles Manson piggy bank. Every time you put a coin in, his eyes light up white, and you hear audio tapes of him like talking.
Dude, that is creepy.
Yeah, so like stuff like that. Like now I'm thinking like outside the box. Like it's beyond t-shirts now. Like I want to make stuff like home decor. Like I want to make the coolest fucking paperweight ever.
I feel like there's a
art
whole
pieces, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, you're probably too young, but you remember that place Spencer's in the
Oh no, it's still a thing. So stuff like that, I go into Spencer's and I'll look at the stuff for inspiration, and I go to Walmart and I look at everyday objects. So I'll look at like when I made the gun mug, I was like, how can I make this, like how can I make a mug? And I was looking at like these cool Pac-Man ones and shit, and I was like, dude, I need to make a mug to where, like, if you were to put it in the side of a backpack while you're traveling, it would scare the shits out of someone. Like, oh fuck, he's strapped.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where the gun mug was born. After that, I was like,
there's like a whole Spencer's going on in your mind, and everything you look at,
basically,
you're associated
like
with
a Spencer's on really, really bad mushrooms. Basically.
Oh man, it's awesome. Man. I love hearing about your success,
yeah,
man.
I'm completely motivated to be better now, dude, at anything because you're really getting it done, and it's evident. Gosh, man, I'm taking away more than anything the amount of passion.
Oh yeah, like
that drives the success.
My mom knows, like, when the brand first started blowing up, when I was like studying Instagram ads, this is like what really blew up the brand. I studied it with Rolando, the guy who hired me. We were studying it for like a year and a half, trying to figure it out. He figured out how to do ads on Etsy. And I was like thinking in my head, like, okay, well, I know how to do Google ads through you. How do I like dominate social media? So I asked him for like a week off. I was like, hey, I'm gonna go to this concert, but it's like a week long. Like, is that cool with you? Who's like, yeah, we have like another fill-in for the week. I go to the concert. It's a one-day concert in Austin, Excision. I come back like after getting a bunch of inspiration for like graphics. But I'm just sitting there like, I'm not going to make anything until I figure out how to push myself out there. So I studied the analytics. You basically have like an insights button. And it shows you when people are most active, when they're not, what days people are using Instagram the most. Kind of like put myself in the consumer's shoes. Like, okay, when the actual fuck, if I was getting off of work, when the actual fuck am I going to be on my phone? When am I going to like stuff from brands? So I made this schedule every day. Like after like a phone session or before a phone session, I would mark my time every day for a whole week. And those times is like, at the end of the day, I created this like algorithm loop just based on this like Central Standard Time. And after analyzing where most of my clientele was, I would dominate those times. Like our time here, like
everywhere,
the pinpointed times that I was hitting my phone here, I would make sure that I was hitting Instagram ads like in the same times, but in New York time.
In their time zone.
Pacific, Central, yeah.
In like LA time, because that's where like most of my stuff ends up going. So after doing that for like 3 years, 2-3 years, I think, well, actually, I had only ran Instagram ads for 1 year, believe it or not. Instagram actually like disabled my advertising for like after a year and a half of running ads, but I had boosted it up from like 100 followers to 6K, like within the span of 1 year. And this was like an active like fan base, and it's still an active fan base.
They're
today,
engaging with the content that you're putting out.
So ever since then, like I haven't ran a single ad. I've had a cult following. Like the engagement's still been the same, super high. I'm always getting a bunch of like love from the supporters. New people are always coming in. People are constantly resharing.
Well, bro, I will tell you, man, I don't know that I can say that I am a cult member of Psych Ward or anything, but I am a big cult member of you, Mr. Mike Molly, and everything you're doing, brother.
I appreciate that.
It really is a hell of a thing to watch anyone at any age, whether you're 20, 19 years old, 20 years old, or whether you're in your 60s and 70s, to witness somebody identify what they're passionate about and pursue it and witness it flourish into something positive or lucrative is fucking amazing, man. That's just as badass as watching, birth, or any other miracle.
I just want these kids to know, man, that like it doesn't matter like what, like I would get made fun of this stuff like in school, like designing and like art was my only outlet. And I'm not gonna like name drop, but I have this skin condition called eczema, and I'm sure y'all have heard of it.
Yeah.
It was really bad on my face in high school, so I would wear surgical masks pre-COVID. Like I would go to Walgreens and wear these masks pre-COVID. I walk into class one day, I'm designing, and these kids in the corner, like they know who they are. They're probably fucking watching right now because they're the first to check out now, which is like, look at how the tables turn.
Fans.
Now that one of them was actually reselling. One of my bullies was actually reselling my shit recently.
What a sack of shit.
For like $300-400. Fuck you.
Yeah, if you were friends, he'd have given you the fucking t-shirt too.
Yeah, so they they were like making fun of me while I was on my laptop, and one of them had said like, "Why are you wearing that mask, Mike? Like, are you sick?" And this other kid, the bully that was reselling my shit, said, "Yeah, he's fucking sick in the head." The whole class laughs, and I'm just like, okay, I don't give a shit. Like, that was a weak ass fucking joke.
Good for you,
Dumbass.
bro. Yeah, they were weak ass jokes.
Years later, I bump into him, and like now I'm designing for a status, like, cause Tony put me on the team, like as like
What's up,
designer.
Tony? What's up, Trouble?
Yeah, shout out Tony, bro.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Tony,
Tony's been
Alex,
on
and
with
Christian.
One of the coolest guys I know, man.
Dude, they're my mentor. They're the ones who taught me like where to put my money at. They taught me that money's a tool. Like, it's not supposed to be used as like to buy flashy shit. Like, that's why I am the way I am. Like, I will still shop at Walmart if it means me being able to put $10,000 instead of putting it like into the business, instead of $10,000.
Trouble said the same thing, man.
Louis
I
V.
put all my money, I reinvest all the money into the business, into the cause.
Yep.
And hearing you say that is testament to, man, there's 4 millionaires out there and you're hanging around with them, you'll be the 5th.
Yeah.
So who you surround yourself with and who is rubbing off on you is a big testament. The names you drop in are all successful people in their realms.
All of them. You're talking about Tony, like,
bro, come on. Tony's
he blew up.
doing it.
Yeah, he's doing that shit.
He's doing it.
Yeah, he's doing it.
We're there at a pop-up, and this bully comes up to me because I had a PsychWard Black Friday pop-up. Like, everyone in this, like, the line, a majority of them were PsychWard fans. Like, so he comes up to me, he's like, "Bro, can I cop all your shit? Like, the rest of the rack?" I was like, I was looking at him, and I was like, "Why the fuck are you here?"
Yeah,
like, bro, like, I don't know how, like, I could underestimate you, like, in high school. I'm sorry for all this stuff that I was doing. In my head, I was like, I could be a dick to him and charge him, like, fucking $300 for each tee, or I could be really nice to him and say, "Fuck it, you could have the whole rack, like, $50 each shirt." So I ended up doing that, like, just being nice. Yeah. And then the motherfucker sells each tee on, like, eBay for fucking $400.
People only get away with that once.
Yeah.
But, like, it just goes to show, like,
man.
Look at, like, where I was in high school. Like, this bully's making fun of me, like, trying to clown me in front of the class. And now I'm paying this dude's rent off of T-shirts. Like, that I designed.
That's where it's at,
fucking
brother.
funny as shit.
And it's a testament that karma's a thing, and how we treat people matters. And so, yeah, dude, no, talk about feeling inspired, brother. I'm looking at you, and I'm looking at the journey you begun and that you're still on. And I can honestly say I'm proud to know you, man. I'm proud to hang out with you.
I
appreciate you
Absolutely,
coming out,
man. I'm sure our audience is going to be like, "What? This is cool, man."
Yeah.
And you're going to give a lot of inspiration to a lot of people, because I know the internet now is a lot of people are trying to get online. A lot of people are trying to do social media.
And it's hard now.
And yeah, it's hard.
It's hard.
But you're a true testament that it can be done.
It can be done.
It can be done still.
Yeah.
Honestly, it really can. Like, this whole, like, algorithm thing, like, before I even wanted to put out, like, how to start a brand guide, I was like, fuck this. I'm going to start another brand and see if my, like, algorithm set even works. So I start Your Happy Place. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. Me and my friend Jason, we make a tea. And I run the same algorithm ad, like, for ads that I've had since the beginning of PsychWard. Literally in the first month, $12,000 in sales. Wow. Just off of one shirt. This is just off of one shirt.
One design.
Yeah, one design only, one shirt.
Holy shit.
You know I'm going to ask you about this.
Algorithm. Yeah, I'm not scared to say numbers, but off of one shirt, $12K in a month. After 2 months, it makes $30,000 in total.
Wow.
Holy
Just in 2 months, one design. So that's when I was like, bingo, like, this is it. This is the perfect how to start a brand guide, because everyone keeps fucking gatekeeping. Like, these big brand owners that are, like, scared of me, like, they know I'll bully the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Like, they might be bigger, tougher in real life, but when it comes to this, I'm in their head 24/7. Like, I've been out doing ideas that these, like, 100K followers, like, brands have. Like, I made a butcher knife before this one, like, brand who won't be named, but you know who the fuck you are. He commented under my comment, like, the post, the knife post, LOL.
Wow.
4 months later, he dropped a knife.
Wow.
And I was like, and he was talking shit about me, saying, like, "Oh, Mike stole this idea from my Discord. Like, he's in the blank brand name Discord." And my friend, like, on athletics, like, "Bro, he's a fucking pussy. Like, he knows damn well you made it before him." Like,
Wow.
Trolls
Well, you
all over,
gotta let them fuel you instead of fucking with you.
And
Let 'em fuel
Unathletic
you.
was just like, bro, like, and if anyone tells you shit, like, use that shit as fuel. Like, he's like, he's like, I hope you don't have to speak on shit. Like,
Nothing, yeah.
You just make your fucking art, let that shit speak for yourself. If they want to talk shit, just drop something else. Like, that's it. So, yeah.
So guys,
like,
I don't know what more we can do for you. We're showing you how to do
Mike
things.
Molly
Mike
right
Molly's
there,
here showing you how to make it happen, telling you that if you're motivated and you're passionate about what you're doing, it's going to work out for you. So, dude, Mike, you need to come back and let us know next time you have a drop. Send us here, bring some teas, and let's get it done.
We're actually having a drop on the 22nd.
Okay.
Anyone, like, I don't know if I could drop like a little promo.
Dude,
Absolutely.
as money as you want.
So, Psychedelic, it's going to be basically this drop that I kind of conceptualize, like, okay, let's get a bunch of serial killers, put them in a room, give them a bunch of psychedelics like mushrooms, LSD tabs, and let's let them make a collection. So this is what I'm conceptualizing in my head for it. We're going to have MK Ultra, with the LSD, like, brainwashing trials that happened back in the 70s. We're going to have a lot of Manson, a lot of, like, mayhem included. There's going to be a bunch of tie-dye shit. Like, this is going to be, like, a testament that you don't have to make just all black shit for it to be brutal. Like, I'm actually going to make some hard-ass shit with it.
Hell shit.
Yeah.
When is that dropping?
The 22nd of this month, July.
July 22nd.
Yeah, July 22nd at www.PyschwardUSA.com. It's going to be mad sick. So everything's colorful. It's literally going to be like if serial killers went to Woodstock. Like, it's going to be fucking cool. Yeah.
Serial killers in Rainbow Bright Land kind of thing, man. I like it.
Well, everybody, Mike Molly
that
on
was
the
our
Sesh,
Sesh, Mike.
guys.
Thank you for being here, brother.
Thank you for having me.
See y'all next time.
Yeah, we'll see y'all later. Awesome.
That was super badass.